Deanna Ross got involved in Scientology in the early 1960s in Las Vegas, Nevada, when her mother and father became Scientologists in those days and actually started up a group here. She then went to St. Hill with her parents in the early 1960s, and her parents did the original St. Hill Special Briefing Course with lectures by L. Ron Hubbard. After that, she ended up on the Flagship Apollo as a teenager. And for the first time in many years, she is actually just talking with Janice Gillum, who she met as a young girl on the Flagship Apollo. And so they're going to be reminiscing on this episode of our show. I think you're going to find it interesting and entertaining. Deanna Ross was a delight to interview, and we're going to be doing more with her. Please stay tuned. I hope you enjoy it. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our channel, Scientology Peeling the Onion. My name is Mark Fisher, and I'm with Janice Gillum Grady, my co-host. Good day, Janice.
Good day, everybody. Good day, Mark. Hey, today's is going to be fun. We are going way back again to, we're going to cover early days at St. Hill with this guest. And this guest I've known, I didn't know her at St. Hill, but I knew her on the Apollo, which was the Royal Scotsman at the time. She came in 68 and was there in 69, and she was the canteen in charge. And I remember that if she had to be somewhere, because she had several jobs, she would pay us a commission for opening up the canteen and serving people. And if the door was locked and she didn't have a key with her, or we need to get in, we younger girls used to climb up onto the counter and open the big door that opened the counter area, and we'd climb over the counter and in and get the door unlocked. So that's one of my great memories of this guest, which is Deanna Ross.
Hey, Deanna, how are you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
We're doing good. We're doing good. Where are
All
you?
Nevadans in the group here.
That's right. You're up in upstate Nevada, right? We're down here in Las Vegas.
That's right.
Yeah.
Are you lifelong? Have you been in Nevada most of your life?
I'm a native. Yeah, absolutely. Born and raised.
Okay.
Well, her parents, her mom and stepfather were the mission holders in Reno back in the 60s.
Oh, wow.
Actually,
okay.
in the later 60s, I guess. It was. Yeah. It went from Las Vegas to Reno to Lake Tahoe.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they were in Las Vegas after they left the ship?
They went to Reno. Actually, when we went to the ship, we were in Reno.
Okay. Good.
Yeah, Reno, to me, down here in Las Vegas, I've lived here now 35 years. I've never been to Reno. It's like, to me, that's like the whole Northern Territory. But it's the second largest city in Nevada. It's just, most people down here, we stay in Clark County.
I know when you mention you're from Nevada, they go, "Oh, Las Vegas," and I say, "No, Reno."
Yeah, I've flown up. I've flown up there a couple of times for when my son's high school was in the championships for the state. So, for tennis, I flew up there with them, and also I flew up there for a mortgage convention. And then Paul and I drove through there once on a road trip with the kids.
And there was another time, I think, because we missed you. Didn't you come to do some lecture? It was promoting your book. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yes, I did.
Right. And my brother-in-law had just passed away. So we were out, handling all that. So, yeah, couldn't get together.
That's right. I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah, and just so people know, everybody, like you said, they think Las Vegas is Nevada, but there's a whole northern part of the state it's about a 6 or 7 hour drive. It's a long drive away, but
it's like 8. Yeah, it's a long drive.
I think it's 8 drive of nothing but desert.
Yeah,
That's where.
and then the state capital is up near there too, Carson City. So
Right.
people, the
Yeah.
whole government and everything's run up there, but Las Vegas is where everybody knows.
Yeah. But
Exactly.
I remember we did a reunion here in Vegas, and Jeff Hawkins was driving from Portland down to Vegas. Mark, he was going to stay with you, and he didn't show up, and that's because he decided he was going to do that drive from Reno down to Vegas, and he didn't fill up with gas before he left.
Oh,
And he ended up on the side of the highway with no gas until a highway patrol came and got him some gas. So he arrived down in Vegas hours off schedule.
that's funny because I when I blew the Sea Org in 1990, and I literally had left like a week before. I drove from Lake Tahoe to Las Vegas, but I went down the California side and I hit Bishop, California, and all that. And then I thought, oh, I'll just cut across over here. There's another highway in Nevada, and I'll catch it there and head down. I did gas up in Bishop, but I didn't realize that there were no gas stations until I got to Beatty, Nevada, and I almost ran out of gas as well. So that's the thing. Nevada is big and wide, but not a lot of gas stations out there.
A lot of kitty litter, as my husband says.
True.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, let's get started. How did you get involved in Scientology? And let's go ahead and start from there. And
I think Janis and I share a very similar story. Our parents became avid Scientologists when we were just babies. I say babies, but children. And we got, just carted along for the ride. I asked my sister one day, I have two sisters, but I asked her, I said, so when did Mom get into Scientology? And she said, I think it was around the time she stopped talking about UFOs and she started talking about Scientology. That's all I know.
And your sister is Peaches Pook.
Correct. That's not the one I asked. I have another sister, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm disconnected from Peaches right now, so.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
You open your mouth on Facebook, and that's kind of what happens.
I know.
Yeah.
Facebook can be dangerous.
Yeah, it sure can. So anyway, my mom started having, kind of like your mom and dad, started having co-audits and doing little, I guess it was mainly co-audits in the living room. And of course, I was trotted out because my TRs were great or some crap. But so it started from that. And a lot of people got involved early on. And then my mom said, oh, we got to go to Washington, D.C. So she went off to Washington, D.C., your territory, Mark.
Is this in Reno? Is that where you started?
No, this was in Las Vegas.
Oh, in Las Vegas. Okay.
In Las Vegas. So this was about 1961 or so when Scientology, when my mom really got involved. And then in 63, she decided to go to Washington, D.C. to become, I guess, maybe a class 4 auditor around then. I think that's what it was.
Was there someone in Vegas who got her into it, that like Eddie Walters or Frankie? Or that was before them?
No, we got them in.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure that's how that worked.
Okay.
Yeah. So, so she went off to Washington, D.C., and that's where she met her husband, Alan Capular. And they became an item, came back, and 2 class 4 auditors, and they set up shop again. And that's about the time when Frank Friedman got involved. A lot of people from the Strip got involved. I'm trying to remember all the people. Frank Friedman, Dusty Rhodes was there.
Oh, okay.
That picture you have, yes, that's the one. So in that picture, I'm in the front right across from Dusty Rhodes. And then
so in the front it says Virginia
right or front
Capulet, that
left?
was your mother.
But hold on,
Right.
you're talking front right or front left? You have to direct people, so otherwise
Sorry,
we
front
lose
left.
listeners.
Front
Okay,
front left is Dusty Rhodes, and then I'm across from him.
okay,
Then across from me is my mom.
okay.
So behind Dusty Rhodes is Frank Friedman. And then I don't know if anyone would remember Connie Roberts. I think she came from, I think maybe Austin. It sounds familiar. Anyway, also in that picture is Nikki Barty then. She's Nikki Friedman, and now I'm not sure who she is.
Nikki Merwin, Nikki. She went through a lot of husbands.
Right. Can you see her? She has the near the back on the right. She's got her face turned towards the
Yeah,
camera this way.
is her back to the camera or no? Or is that or
No,
is she
her
further in the
face
back?
is,
No,
yeah.
there's someone
And
looking directly at the camera with kind of blondish hair with dark roots.
Yep,
Is
that's
that
the one.
Nikki?
That's Nikki. And
yeah,
then kind of,
and Nikki Merwin was Mary Sue Hubbard's communicator for years, right, Janice?
Oh, yeah, for many years. She was like
Yeah,
Mary Sue's best friend.
yeah.
wow. Yeah. So to the right and to the rear, that's Dick Laddie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. I knew Dick.
Yeah, right?
You know, it's
Yeah.
funny. I mean, and this is in the early '60s, right?
This actually was probably about 1967. I've
Okay,
jumped
but
around here a little
still,
bit,
or
but
mid '60s or whatever. But I
yeah,
want to tell you right now, that's probably more people than the current ideal organization in Las Vegas has in training in their training course room here in
right?
2025.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Now, that was the days when Nikki was a dancer down on the
Well,
strip.
yes, she was.
Her
She worked at the Flaming. No, she worked at the
Tropicana?
Tropicana for Follies Bergère. Yeah.
Follows
Yeah,
Bergère. Oh
her
wow,
and Judy Lewis. Judy Lewis.
Yes. Judy
Yes.
Lewis.
they
Right.
were
Yeah.
Yeah.
showgirls, right?
Yep.
They
Showgirls
were
with the big
showgirls.
headdresses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah, and
remember, yeah, some
going
other people that were involved in that production were also taking courses, and I would get to go into the dinner show because the late night show was topless. But
right.
yeah, so I'd get to sit up in the lighting booth and watch it all. It was fun
Oh, that's
times.
cool. You know,
Yeah.
Nikki told me a funny story when she was dancing in the Follies, and that was where, they had their big feather hats and so forth. And
Right.
she had short hair at the time, and she had to pull it up into a little ponytail on her head that kind of spiked out. And she's coming down the stairs, and they're doing this thing with their feet as they come down the stairs, and she tripped and she fell on the floor and her hat came off, and she's sitting there with this little spout coming out of her head. And no one's supposed to get out of line, but Judy Lewis got out of line, picked up the hat, put it on Nikki's head, and got in line and did the dance.
Oh, how funny. That's
Yeah.
funny. Yeah, so anyway, chronologically speaking, so I think sometime around September of 1965, of course, the special briefing course came out. And so then we had to go to St. Hill
I have a
because
question for
everybody
you
had,
before we go
yeah,
to St. Hill. How did all these people get into Scientology in Las Vegas? Like, were they just buying Dianetics books, or I mean, there wasn't. I don't know
it
what
was
it was
just
like.
word of mouth. And then
Okay,
Alan would do lectures like every Tuesday and Friday nights. And
where do you remember where the Scientology Center was?
I do.
Where?
It
I
was,
know the town really well, so that's why I
oh,
want.
good. Okay. I don't think the building's there anymore.
Uh-huh.
But this picture was taken at 300 East St. Louis.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Downtown area.
I'm sure the building's not there at all anymore, but yeah, it
Okay.
was a house as I remember.
Yeah, that whole neighborhood is actually along St. Louis and all that. They're older homes, but they're like considered a historic neighborhood because a lot of
Is it
attorneys
really?
and judges and everybody live in that area or lived
That's
in that area. Yeah.
that's crazy because we lived right around the corner on Santa Paula.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, Liberace used to have a house over in that area too.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I
It's
haven't
still
been to
there.
Las.
It's a museum now.
Well, no, that Janice, you're thinking of a different house. He had another house downtown before the big house over by the airport. This one is
Oh,
downtown, and they still have the L's on the iron gates and stuff. I drive by it from time to time.
oh, okay. There was
I
one of his houses that I did a tour of.
Yeah, that's over by the airport. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I met Liberace and I have his autograph.
Oh,
Oh,
you
okay.
Not all I
do?
can contribute.
It's so
Uh,
funny because people. I mean, we've been here 35 years, but has exploded during that 35 years. But as far as you're concerned, Las Vegas was a dusty old town in 1960s, right? I mean, there was just the casinos and then dirt everywhere.
well, here's the shocker. When I was born, Las Vegas, the population was 70,000.
Yeah. Well, when
Yeah.
we came to town, it was 800,000, I think.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
And
Yeah.
now it's what, 3 million?
Is
yeah,
it
it's three
really?
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, but the thing is, Las Vegas is only half of it because the rest of half those hotels on the strip are actually in the county and not in Las Vegas.
Oh,
Las Vegas only goes as south as Sahara, and then the rest going towards California is all county.
I was going to say like Pahrump area and stuff.
Well, no. What
No,
she's talking about
no.
is it's still considered Las Vegas, but it's not the city of Las Vegas. It's
Oh,
actually in
okay.
Clark County. But like
Like,
if you get down by Tropicana, where the MGM is, and all that, that's in the county. That's actually not in the city of Las
I
Vegas.
did not know that.
yeah,
Huh.
a lot of
Wow.
people don't know it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they haven't annexed that into the city like in
No,
No,
they have
Reno.
separate governments. They have separate governments. Even they have the mayor of Las Vegas is Las Vegas City, but then you've got the Clark County Commission, which runs the rest of the county. It's always been that way.
Yeah. I live
yeah,
in the county here too, so but the city keeps kind of trying to annex and take
Yeah.
away the county. Yeah. So,
yeah, same here. Now, I
yeah.
have a
Anyway,
question
back to
going back to this picture.
Mhm.
This classroom, was that in your mom's and Alan's mission? Their
This
Scientology
was
mission?
yes, and this was the 300 East St. Louis.
okay.
And there was no org in Las Vegas at that time.
Say that one more time.
There was no org.
No. Oh no.
No,
No, it was
it was
just
just your
the
parents.
mission. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So to finish your question, Mark, it was just word of mouth. And hi, Misha. um, it was just word of mouth, and the best word of mouth got spread at the casinos through young people. And that's how it all was. They basically all worked at the casinos, all those people.
Yeah, I know Frankie got a lot of people in from what Eddie Walters was telling me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Just enthusiastic, and it was, that time in the 60s of the
Well, and
counterculture
that
and
makes sense. Frankie was a people person if there ever was one. I mean, like I said, I told you a story. I went on mission with him in 1979 here to Las Vegas on a recruitment mission for the Sea Org, and we walk into old restaurants. You know what I mean? And we walk in, and the waiters would be go like, "Frankie, how you doing? Where you been?" And
right.
we're talking 1979. They probably hadn't seen him in over 15 years.
Right.
Anyway. So that
So
now you head to St. Hill for the briefing
so
course,
now,
right?
yeah, so now we head to St. Hill, and my mom and Alan rented a big house in Ardingly. I don't know if you remember that little village, do you? It
No.
was towards Haywards Heath, because that's where
Okay.
I went to school in Haywards Heath. So
Yeah.
anyway, so some of those St. Hill pictures, if you can bring up, you'll see some of the people. Yeah, St. Hill. And then the people in those
There's
pictures,
Frankie.
right, were living in the house that we had rented. It was like I want to say 8-bedroom house, and it was quite old. As I recall, it was from the 1600s. It was a
Wow.
cool place. So in that picture, starting on the left, the gentleman, that's hold on, Dave Eccles and his wife Lee. Dave was a trumpeter from New York City, and his wife was a rockette.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody remembers them at all.
Sure.
No, I don't.
Oh
No.
no, the Eccles. No, I don't remember them. But the
Yeah.
Rockettes, I remember.
Yeah, right. But they were from New York City, and so they roomed with us. And then that is my actual father, the little short guy in
Okay.
the front.
Okay.
That's my dad.
And what's
Rex
his
is
name? Rex.
Say again? Rex RV.
Rex.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know who knows him that I just spoke to recently is Nev Chamberlain. He remembers
Oh, okay.
Rex.
Now,
Yeah.
where's Rex now?
He passed away in 74.
Oh,
Okay. Okay, but Nev remembers him. Okay, good.
Yes.
He looks
yes.
familiar to me. Probably someone that I saw around St. Hill.
Could be.
Yeah.
You know, I wasn't around St. Hill much. I was at school, basically. But you would recognize some of my family members, I'm sure.
Yeah. I was at school, but I went to school in East Grinstead, so I'd then just catch the bus and go to St. Hill and hang out there, with the Hubbards or with my
Right.
mom and Phoebe.
Oh, yeah. Phoebe Maurer. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I'd get there and I'd go. My first assignment was to go get them coffee from the canteen.
You in that
well, you have an
canteen.
experience in that canteen, Janis.
Well, that's a different canteen. This was the canteen.
Oh, I know. I'm just
At
saying,
St.
you got a
Hill.
whole work history at the canteen.
Yeah, that's true. That was on the Scottman.
Did you
Yeah,
have to
I know.
climb through the door to open it?
No.
Who's the man behind the woman there and next to Frankie?
So that's Alan Capular. That's my mother's husband.
Okay.
And then to the right is it. Well, you recognize Frank. So.
Right.
Yeah.
And this, as I recall, the fellow on the right is David Hancock. Do you remember the Hancocks? Helen Hancock.
Yes.
Yes, that's her son, David. And then I
Okay.
believe the fellow on the left is James Hare.
Oh, okay. It's hard to see, but it could be James Hare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just my memory. I could be wrong, but I know for sure David is on the right. I was hoping you could tell me who was in this picture because I have no idea.
That man in the front, I recognize him, but I couldn't tell you who he is.
Right? I know. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know.
I was going to show. This is that area, right? This is outside the chapel. Is this where Hubbard gave his briefing course lectures?
Yes, that's the chapel and the wishing well. People used to pile up at those windows to hear his lectures.
Yeah.
And he'd give the lecture inside, right? And then of course there was
Yeah. Yeah, I'll pull out some of those photos. So next time we talk, I'll show you the comparison of an empty chapel compared to a full chapel.
Do you remember that was being built?
That was done before I arrived.
And when did you arrive?
I arrived in July '66, so it was already there. But I've seen some pictures somewhere of the Qual area where there was the inside, which was, I know the children's classes were there, and then there was a walkway, and then there was the offices, the Quad, I think it was called.
Yeah, I don't remember.
And then next to that, where that picture was of the gentleman I couldn't recognize, that was the reception area. But that was all built in the 60s. Before I got there.
I remember there was construction going on like one of the times I was there. So, yeah.
Now,
because before that,
Go ahead, Janice.
Before that, I think a lot of the courses were done here in the pavilion.
Yes.
Before they
yes.
got the chapel built.
If
And the
you look
pavilion was
close,
attached to St. Hill.
Is that
to the
up
house.
there in the upper left? Upper left?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
so if you look close to the right, you see that little small building?
Yeah.
Yes.
Those were little auditing rooms. Do you remember that, Janice?
No, those weren't there when I was there.
Huh. So maybe that was temporarily
Yeah.
while something was being built.
Well, they were building the quad and reception and the
Yeah.
chapel. Those could have been there. And then I remember later on, a lot of people that got be up at the tennis courts giving sessions in the changing rooms, the tennis courts, or in Fairy Forest. I called it Fairy Forest. but it was along the wall, the outer wall of St. Hill. And people would be doing sessions up there as well.
Yeah. So did all of you come, Terry and Peter and you all come at one time?
Yeah, we came. Mom was already at St. Hill, and Dad was in Australia to pack up, and we were sent on a ship with David and Peppy Kent.
I don't remember
They were Australians. David was a teacher, piano teacher, and so they were our legal guardians for the 6-week trip from Australia to England.
Okay, because I remember meeting Peter at it was probably like a Friday night graduation or something. And there was it was some celebration, I don't remember, but there was a bunch of young kids in this little, maybe it was the canteen, I just don't remember, but there was music playing and we were all drinking cider, hard cider.
Oh, really?
Listening
when you
to
say
the
Peter,
Beatles.
now when you say Peter, do you mean Peter Jr., Janice's
Yes.
brother? Or
Yeah, my brother.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we were listening to the Beatles, we were being all cool because we were cool, drinking cider.
Probably was the canteen, because the canteen was the big hangout place. And I even remember some guy in there. He was a hairdresser. He saw my hair and that it was all frizzy, and he was like, "Oh, let me do a haircut on you." And there I am in the canteen, and he's cutting my hair.
Was he American?
Yeah, I think Conrad or.
What? Because he lived with us.
Oh, he did?
And he would cut everybody's hair, and he would have us do ice cube plunges on our hair because it was supposed to make it grow or something.
Oh.
Yeah. How many hairdressers were there?
That's the first time I'd ever had my hair cut by someone that knew what they were doing. My mother used to just pull my bangs and cut them, and they go.
No, way
Now,
up here, remember?
Yeah.
Yeah.
let me ask a couple questions, okay? So when you all came over there, was it the original briefing course? Like, was Hubbard giving the actual lectures, right? And it was your mother and father doing the course, and then you were in school, right?
Correct. I never took any Scientology classes at all at St. Hill. I was in school. Yeah,
Well,
but
let me ask you this. So my next question I have for you is, like, did you actually remember seeing Hubbard when you were a young girl there, or any of the Hubbard kids, or Mary Sue, or anything like that?
I never did. Okay. Like I said, I spent most of my time, with my friends in Hayward's Heath, which was quite a little drive away.
I understand.
So, yeah.
Now, and then Frankie and these other people from Las Vegas, they came over as well to do the briefing course. Is that what happened?
Right. Frank came over real soon after we got the house. And then my sister Peaches was there for a short time. I think she just took some courses. I don't think she took the briefing course. But Frank, my dad, Alan, and Virginia, my mom, they were all on the briefing course. And it was the original, as I recall. And as a matter of fact, it was because I remember John McMaster's going clear.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was in January of '66, something like that. And then everybody got the message what the clear cognition was. And then there was a bunch of people that went clear because they all started talking about it, right? So my mom's clear number is like 167 or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah, my dad's is like, well, I have the clear bracelets over there. It's all I got left of my parents. Yeah, my dad's was like 337 or something like that.
Oh, I
Okay.
have.
Okay, let me get mine.
I have my dad's here. Clear number 170.
There you
Oh,
go.
wow.
Let's see.
29th of December 1966.
Okay, so my mom's is clear number 143 on 1/12/1966.
Okay,
Wow.
112.
Yes.
So she was
Yes.
just before my dad.
Yeah.
Well,
Right
the
there.
number sequentially she was, yeah.
Yeah.
How about your mom, Janice?
She was
That
the
was
1st
my-
of December. My dad was the 29th of December.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
And-
My sister has her clear bracelet, but she her clear number was, I think, 37.
Ooh.
Yeah. She was very
spread.
early.
You could see it was so funny. You could see it spread so quickly. I mean, everybody wanted to go clear, and then John
Yeah.
McMaster's went. Then everybody went boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember my clear number was 9,766, 9766. And I don't have my clear bracelet because when we left the Sea Org, they took everything that had a Scientology symbol out of our stuff. I did
Isn't
not
that
have
something?
any of that anymore.
Crazy. Yeah. So I have those two. Those two. They're really old and they're all patinaed and everything.
Yeah.
And then I have mine.
Oh, your
Oh, you
SP,
have-
SP bracelet.
I have one of those.
I do too.
Claire Headley sent it to me.
I know, with a really nice video that went with it. Did you get the thank you video?
No, I don't think so.
I don't
Oh,
remember.
I guess I was special.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember my clear number was 9,766, 9766. And I don't have my clear bracelet because when we left the Sea Org, they took everything that had a Scientology symbol out of our stuff. I did
Isn't
not
that
have
something?
any of that anymore.
Crazy. Yeah, so I have those two. Those two. They're really old and they're all patinaed and everything.
Yeah.
And then I have mine.
Oh, your SP,
you have-
your SP bracelet.
I have one of those.
I do too.
Claire Headley sent it to me.
I know, with a really nice video that went with it. Did you get the thank you video?
No, I don't think so.
I don't remember.
Oh, I guess I was special.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny.
It is.
Yeah. Anyway,
So, let's see.
let's move this along. Did you then go from St. Hill to the ship, or what happened? What's
No,
going on?
we let me think. St. Hill.
You obviously went back to Las Vegas because we had that picture of you guys.
No, we didn't.
Well, in 67.
Yes, we
you
did. Sorry.
Right. Yeah.
Well, you're keeping track. Yeah. So yeah, we came back. They came back as Class 6 auditors, which made the whole mission grow even more because everybody was trained and everybody had to be audited by my mom and Alan. And we brought in some different people from like Austin. I think it was Austin. It was Connie and George Roberts came because it was too much for just my parents to do. And Frank was there auditing. So we brought in more auditors, and it was Connie and George Roberts. And I think, like I said, I think they were from Austin and then, or Dallas, one of the two. And then Patty and Steve Murrow. I don't know if you're familiar with them.
No.
I'm sure they're long declared, but I think they came out of Dallas too. So yeah, we had to hire more auditors because it was just booming.
Yeah.
Booming. Yeah.
Now,
And then, go ahead.
did these auditors need PCs and they audited you to get you through your grades or anything like that?
Yeah, I probably did my grades then, 1 through 4, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember a couple of those people auditing me, but I also remember my parents auditing me too. So,
And were you going to school then here in Las Vegas?
yes. Yes.
Where'd you go to high school?
I went to high school. What? What's that? I went to junior high.
Oh, which junior high? I wanted to see if it's still here.
Yes, I went to William E. Orr,
What is it called? Say again.
William E.
Or
Orr.
yeah, sure. I've driven by
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, that was like ninth grade. So,
Okay.
and that was it for me. Because then I guess my folks must have sold Las Vegas, because the next thing I know, they went to, my mom and Alan went to Alicante, Spain,
Right.
right?
For the OT
And
level.
they went like to OT2 or something, right?
Isn't that
And
Janice? That's
then,
Well,
where the advanced
OT3
storage.
was
That's where the
OT3 was
advanced storage
there.
was, right?
Yes.
Janice, that
Well,
was where
it
the
had
advanced organization was.
yes, it had been on the Royal Scotman when the Scotman was purchased. It went to Southampton. They moved the advanced organization onto the Scotman, and then they sailed down to the Mediterranean and ended up in Valencia. And then when the ship was the Scotman was being assigned a condition of liability because no one knew what they were doing, the advanced organization was moved to Alicante and set up there in a hotel, and that's
it,
when
was,
we then sailed off on the liability cruise.
it wasn't there
And you
for
can
very
read
long, was
about
it?
these stories. You can get the details in Janice's book, Commodore's Messenger, Book 1. Anyway,
What
go
was that,
ahead.
Deanna?
It wasn't there for very long, was it?
No, because then after that, there was legal issues with Spain, and so that's when AOSH UK was set up in Edinburgh because
Right.
Americans couldn't get into St. Hill anymore, and the flight to freedom was turned back, and we discussed that with Holly Carlson,
Holly. Yeah.
and so the advanced organization was set up in Edinburgh because my mother was sent up there to take over command and was the commanding officer there, and then there were still issues. So then when we got kicked out of Greece, we were going to set up an advanced organization in Corfu, and we ended up then with Hank Lahas. That then got packed up before it even opened and set up in Denmark, in Copenhagen.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew it didn't last very long. So, and that was 67, 68. That must have been the beginning of 68.
Yep. 68.
Okay. Right. So I just remember them coming back, and I think they may have sold the franchise in Las Vegas, probably to make money for their upper levels. That's my guess. And then they moved to Reno. They had some people here in Reno that they knew. So I remember coming to Reno, getting yanked out of school one more time, um, and coming up to Reno. And that was around my birthday, which is in April. So that was April of 68. And
Okay.
they started another franchise here in Reno and just kind of mimicked what they had done in Las Vegas. Word of mouth, spread it around. I don't know if you remember, and it's a question I've always wanted to ask you. Do you remember the name Sidney Zimmett? As he's
No.
a doctor
No.
In Sparks, Nevada.
No.
Do you ever think Hubbard ever went to see him?
Possibly.
I will have to check with Dee Dee because there is a doctor that he went and saw that Dee Dee will know. I'll have to check
Yeah.
with her.
Yeah. So I'm going to say it was maybe him. And the funny thing is, my husband talks about this. I never saw it, but because Dr. Emmett and his wife Kathy were our doctors for like years here. But when you went into his office, he had a tone scale on the wall written
Oh,
by Ron DeWolf.
oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yes. Isn't that interesting?
Huh? Yeah, very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Anyway,
did
I
a whole
digress.
show. We did a whole show on when Hubbard went on the run and hiding up in Sparks, Nevada, right, Janice?
Right.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, with
Yeah.
Dee Dee and Claire and Pat.
Yeah.
Right. I just don't remember the doctor's name, but it would make sense that it was Sid Zimmett.
Sid Zimmett. Yeah, I've got to check with Dee Dee on that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, because
So,
Hubbard did go to the doctor there.
right.
Yeah.
That's what I
I
heard.
remember that as
Because
part of the story, Janice. He got hurt or something, right?
yeah, because he wasn't feeling well, and he was going on about how sick he was, and so Claire and Dee Dee were like trying to get him in to see the doctor, and here they were pleading to please take him, and then they get him in with the doctor, and then they hear him in there laughing away, talking, chatting with the doctor, and they're like. They just embarrassed themselves to get him in there because he was so sick. But once he was in there, he was just yakking away.
That's funny. And that would have been what, 80?
That was 77.
Yeah.
Because it was
77.
yeah, the Geo raid happened in June or July
Of course.
77, and that's when Hubbard split up to the Sparks. And then
Yeah.
they came back on the 5th of January 78.
Yeah. If he's like any other Scientologist, we always look for Scientology doctors, right?
Yeah.
So,
And Sparks is up there by Reno, right? It's up there by you.
yeah, they're back to back. Yeah.
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 So once we get to Reno, like I said, we do the whole thing again, and it's flaming hot. I think it's just was the time in society, people were interested in the counterculture and doing things different than our parents kind of stuff. Yeah, and it just took off. And then the next thing we know, knock, 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 it was Bill Deutsch and Fran Friedman. Do you remember Frankie Friedman's sister?
Franny married Frankie.
Frankie's wife. That's how I met Frankie.
Fran was Fran Broker, and she married Frankie after Nikki.
Well, maybe she was named something else. Was she a heavy?
Yeah, she had
girl?
another name. She had been married to somebody else, right, Janice? Before.
What was that, Deanna?
Was she a heavy set girl?
No.
Okay.
Fran Deitch was Bill Deitch's sister.
Was she heavy set with dark hair?
Yes, she was.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, that's who it was then. I got it mixed up. Anyway, they came knocking to recruit for the Sea Org. And yeah, so signed up my mom and Alan and my sister Peaches and myself.
Right.
And that must have been in August of 1968.
How old were you then?
I was 15.
Okay. And then you were off on a whirlwind adventure to the Mediterranean.
I didn't know that's where we were going.
Do you remember the trip? Do you remember what they told you?
I got sold the idea. Oh, it'll be a great adventure. We'll be on a ship sailing, right? And I thought it as a kind of a vacation. That's how it was presented to me. Imagine my surprise.
What port were we in when you arrived?
Corfu.
Oh, okay. We were already there.
Right. So we didn't leave until I think it was the weekend of Labor Day weekend in 68, because my sister and I flew to Las Vegas and had to stay the night Well, did we have a hotel room on Labor Day weekend? No.
No.
We ended up in a hotel out in Henderson.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, right. So, yeah, and then so we flew from Las Vegas to, I want to say Athens, because I have a
Yep.
memory of meeting my folks there, my
Okay.
mom and Alan there, and then we went to the ship.
Yeah, and Athens was the only way to get to Corfu.
Oh, okay, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I
Janice, were you
remember.
on the ship at that time period? Were you there?
Yeah, I was already there. I got there in January of 68 and she got there in September.
Yep.
So we'd already had many adventures before Deanna
Yes.
arrived.
Didn't you say Janice, Corfu was one of your favorite ports? That you
I
guys
loved Corfu. I
I
did.
did too.
Yeah, and I went back there a couple of years ago and I
Yeah.
really enjoyed it still.
Yeah, and I think it was just a nicer time in the Sea Org back. Well, I can't say a nicer time because I went in the chain locker. I got thrown overboard, but um, it was a smaller and not quite as um, controlling, maybe.
Right.
Yeah,
Anyway.
yeah,
Now you
yeah.
said
So
you got to the ship, and what did you end up doing?
I went into the ladies' dorm and fell asleep and cried myself to sleep. It's like, what the hell is this?
the ladies' dorm is in like a dungeon.
Oh, and it stunk so bad. Oh, my Lord. Yeah,
The
to be
men
ripped.
stunk worse.
Well, it was right across the hall, too. Yeah,
Now,
it
was the ship at that time? Had it been christened the Apollo then, Janice, or was
No.
it still Royal Scotsman?
No, it was Royal Scotsman.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so it was quite a rude awakening to be yanked out of my cozy little American lifestyle into that. It was, I want to go home immediately.
Now there's a picture here we have.
Yes.
Bach, am I going the right way?
I have no idea.
There it
Yes.
is. Yeah, right here. This
Yeah.
would have been in late 68.
Was it, you know for sure?
Late
It wasn't
68, early 69.
I'm thinking it's 69 because
Okay.
I think Suzette and I were on the deck project workforce. That was kind of before the RPF. We were punished.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
let's see if I can go through this. On the left, starting on the left, that's Paul Elliott. He was the bosun for a long time. He was an Englishman, and he's still in England. I've got his email. When I was writing my book, I asked him a few questions.
Ah,
And then Richard Gorman, he
I
was
remember him.
Canadian. He went to college with Donald Sutherland.
huh.
They were
You
they
don't
were
know.
roommates at college, yeah. And he was the LRH artist. And yeah, anyway, he was Canadian. And then the next one is Bill Greenwald,
Yep.
You're talking about
Who-
third from the left, right, Janice?
third from the left in the dark sweater. Bill
Yeah.
Greenwald still lives in California. I don't know if he's a Scientologist still or not, or if he's, what his status is, but he did come to one of my reunions where actually it was a celebration of life for Bill Franks.
Oh, he was
And,
there. Okay.
Yeah, he did come to that. And then with the no shirt on, that's Robin Lindsell. Robin was an Englishman, and Robin later became a case supervisor and one of the top auditors, personally
Right.
trained by LRH. And he eventually left from the gold base. He was, at the ship, and then Flag, and then La Quinta, and then he was at the gold base in Hemet. And then there in the middle, that's Norman Starkey.
No.
Oh, with the dark hair in the middle. Oh, wow.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Oh.
Norman Starkey.
He's between Robin and
No.
Jeff Walker, right?
No.
Yeah,
that's not
he was-
Norman.
Yeah, he had just been aboard the ship for a short period. He was on the deck force, but working his way up.
Where's his? He had a beard. He had a little goatee.
Not yet. Not yet. He didn't.
Are you
Yeah.
sure? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. He and Lovey, Maria Bolsoler, Maria Starkey, they came in 68. And
Maria and him were there when I got there. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Norman.
And
yeah.
both have passed away. They both passed away in the Sea Org working at Authors Services.
Yeah.
Norman, I think, died in 2019 is when they found out he passed away. Yeah. And Lovey died several years before that.
Maria was one of the prettiest women I've ever seen. She was so pretty.
Yeah, she's a lovely lady.
Mm-hmm.
Very caring, yeah. And then next to Norman, that's Jeff Walker.
Right.
Who, Jeff was on the decks, and then later he became an engineer. And then while working in the engine room, he trained up to Class 4 auditor and then became an auditor and went all the way up to Class 12 and was, at one point, he was the international case supervisor.
Senior case supervisor.
Yeah. And then next is Ernie Martin, Knox Martin's brother. Knox Martin did a whole beautiful mural on the CC building on La Brea when they moved over there. But Ernie was a matador. And I remember at St. Hill, my mom coming back from a party talking about Ernie Martin, the matador, and he was there in his full dress with his cape, and he was showing everybody his matador moves and stuff like this. Anyway, Ernie ended up on the ship, and later on he was in Los Angeles. He actually had what Scientology calls a squirrel group. He set up a field group and had a bunch of auditors. I actually visited with him, maybe a year before he passed away. But someone who had been in the Sea Org told me that they were implanted in his group by the Guardian's office for 8 years. They were reporting on Ernie and everything that went on in his squirrel group. I mean, that's how involved they get these people to do amends and report on other people.
Good Lord.
Yeah. And then the next one, sitting on the rail, that is Jeff Barnes.
That's Jeff Barnes, and my son is named after Jeff.
Oh, really?
I had the biggest crush on Jeff Barnes, and I loved how he spelled his name. It's like, oh,
that's cute.
That's my son's namesake. Yeah.
Oh dear. Okay, and then the next one, that's her head is down. That's Julie Blundell.
Yes.
There's a photo of her with Pookie, your ex-brother-in-law, and LRH, and then Julie was a messenger standing behind him, and there was a whole big thing going on about her having a black eye, and Julie hit her eye. It wasn't that someone hit her or anything like that, but she had a black eye. But it wasn't like what people were trying to accuse their abuse of her on the ship. Anyway, Julie, I grew up with her in Australia. Her mom was Bet Blundell.
Bill and Bet.
Bill and Bet, yep. And when my mom went to St. Hill, I used to go and stay with Julie, and Bet would take care of me. And,
so Debbie was like, we were best buds on the ship.
Debbie Blundell.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and she's still in, unfortunately.
Yes, I know. She's in Los Angeles. They have a landscaping company, she and her Swedish husband.
You know, it's funny about, it's been about 8 years ago when my sister would speak to me. She said, I had dinner with Mike Maurer and Debbie Blundell was there. And, no, it was another Deanna was there. And they started talking, and it was a Blundell. And she said, well, my mom named me after my friend. And she said, that was you. I said, oh, my goodness. So I have a namesake.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Debbie Larson. Debbie Larson. That's her
Okay.
name now, Debbie Blundell, Debbie Larson.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I
And
actually got her phone number and called her, and she could barely give me the time of day. It was really sad. But she has a child named after me, so
oh wow.
yeah, funny.
Wow. Yeah,
You got two
no,
more to go,
I
Janice.
I knew Debbie since I was real young. And then the older
Yeah.
sister, Leslie. Leslie's the one, the
Right.
great story on her blow from the ship in Corfu, where
'Cause
she hid under the bunk bed. She did the chain locker, hid under a bunk bed. Everyone was searching for her. She finally got some locals to hide her, and she got off and ended up in Athens or something, babysitting to make her way back to Australia. It's a
and
great
I don't
story.
remember. I don't remember Leslie.
Okay,
So
yeah,
yeah. So
Two
it
more to
kind
go,
of tough.
Janice.
I know. I'm talking
Chop, chop.
about Julie. Okay. The next one, the second from the from the right,
the right,
is Suzette Hubbard. That's L. Ron Hubbard's second daughter. Well, actually, third daughter.
Third, yeah.
But second with
Fourth.
Mary Sue.
Fourth.
Daughter.
Fourth.
Yeah,
Don't
because
we have-
Katie,
no.
Alexis, Diana.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I wasn't
Yeah.
thinking of Alexis. Yeah. Fourth
Yeah.
daughter. Okay, yeah. Katie, and then Alexis, Diana, and then Suzette.
Right.
Suzette was between Quentin and Arthur.
Right.
And yeah, and
Suzette and I
Suzette
were
used to
pretty-
hang out with you. You guys were good friends.
Yes, we were. we played hooky many times together. And
Right.
poor Arthur would try to follow us, and we'd try to lose him because he had a big mouth. He would snitch on us, So
Right.
So
Yep.
we had this little cabin in A deck, way forward of A deck, that had a bunch of mattresses or something in it. We would hide in there, and he never found us. So
Yeah, and then the end person on the right, that is you.
that is me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you about 16 years old there? How old?
I'm thinking, yeah. Was this taken in Corfu or not?
I think it was Corfu, yeah.
Then I was
Sylvia
15.
Calhoun took that picture.
That's what I'm thinking. And I think it
Yeah.
was just before my birthday, before I turned 16. Because didn't we leave in April or March?
Yeah, around then in 69, yeah.
Yeah, and my birthday, I remember being in Lisbon for my birthday. Or no, Cadiz. Wasn't our first, our first little stop was in Cadiz, as I recall.
Well, we went through Italy first and to get over to Spain. We went to Cagliari.
That was first?
Yeah. Because you got to go past Italy to get to Spain.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Sorry,
Yeah.
my dogs escaped.
That's okay. And listen, and for our viewers out there, once again, Janice proves why she's called the Oracle, because she can look at a photograph that took place 60 years ago and one by one name everybody in it and what they're doing today, or if they're even alive anymore. So if you ever want to know about somebody in the old Sea Org, she's the person to get a hold of.
Well, I don't know all, but I do pretty good.
You knew everybody in that photo. Oh my gosh.
And the photographer.
Right,
right.
there you go.
Yeah.
Anyway, so what did you do when obviously you were overwhelmed by how dirty and disgusting it was, but what was your job? What did you do? Or
well, the very first thing I did was, once I woke up, I got put in the galley with piles of dishes and just me washing them. It was a daunting task. I just remembered, I've done dishes at home before. What the heck is this? Oh my God. It took you like 4 hours to do the dishes. Holy cow. But it was during the time that the Class 8 course was going on.
Uh-huh.
And I would have to do the dishes after the lectures.
That's Janice's dog.
dogs everywhere. Um, so once the dinner was served, they cleared the dishes and then they set up for the lectures in that same dining room, right? And they would just pile the dishes in the galley, and Suzette and I would go off and do our thing. We were supposed to be in study, but we never did that. Uh, so yeah, so I would have to come back at like 11 o'clock at night and do the dishes by myself till
Oh my
3 in
Well,
the
God.
morning.
Deanna, when I was a dishwasher, at least I had my sister.
Right?
That was my first job at 11 years old. We had to work for our keep, and they gave me like a milk crate to stand on because I couldn't lean over the sink, that big
Right.
sink, and big gloves put on that didn't fit, and I have to do the dishes, and then we had to rinse them in boiling water that would burn us.
Right?
And I know exactly what you went through.
Yes, yes. And I think I even stood on that crate. Maybe I had a little lower one because I'm kind of on the short side. So, yeah, it was just
Wow.
daunting. It was daunting. It's like, let me out of here. So
Yeah,
then,
oh, I hated it.
oh, didn't everybody? Oh, it was awful. And darn John Horowitz came on board and he didn't get in the galley first. I was really pissed off.
Well, what did he do first? He was on the decks.
Yeah, it was something, it was a cushy job compared to the dishes.
But
Oh my God.
Are you talking about
you
John
know
Horowitz?
yeah,
Yeah.
when John Horwitz arrived, he arrived with Helen Charles, and he used to wear this big yellow bubbly anorak, and he had these
Yes.
round glasses, and I
Yes.
used to call him Bubbles, and to this day I still call him Bubbles, and he calls me Bubblette.
How funny. Yeah. He got promoted real quick and it was just like, here I am stuck in the nursery or the canteen.
Let me ask you a
I was,
question,
Yeah,
Deanna. Um,
yes,
what do you remember seeing Hubbard on the ship, or do you
I
remember did you ever meet him on the ship, or what?
I did. Like one, I think maybe the second day I was there or something, somebody was showing me around and he came strutting through on B deck, or on A deck, and why I was, oh, I guess I was being shown around. Anyway, he came strutting through, kind of briskly walking. Maybe it was his morning walk or something, and with a little messenger, and he said, "Well, hello there, young lady." And I went, "Hello?" Uh, and somebody nudged me and says, "That's the Commodore." It's like, oh, okay. That was my first interaction with him, and then once we were underway, um, when we got kicked out, excuse me, when we got kicked out of Corfu, uh, here's all these green people, all these new people trying to figure out what the hell we're doing on the bridge, and somebody yelling. Anyway, Hubbard would come on the bridge yelling, and that's not right, do it this way. It's like, okay. I was just shaking in my boots every time that happened, and there was a few times that happened.
Well,
yeah,
that's great.
yeah.
This
Yeah.
is a good point for us to end this show because we're over an
Oh my
hour now.
gosh.
Yeah,
Holy
Yeah.
and
cow.
we definitely are going to have a second part because
Well,
we're going to take
well,
you from that.
when we come back, we need to find out what she did that she got thrown overboard, and what she did that she ended up in the chain locker.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. We'll leave that mystery sandwich for our viewers for the next episode. But this has been a lot of fun, Janice.
It
We kept
has.
Yeah,
catching up.
it has.
Have you guys talked? Over all these years?
No,
No.
no, we
No.
kind of didn't touch on Facebook, but it was more of I was going up to Reno. We were going to meet when I was up there, but it didn't happen.
Yeah, exactly. And I haven't really been part of the ex Scientology community ever. I never spoke out until 2017 when the aftermath started coming. And I went, oh my God. Oh my, what? What?
Wow.
Yeah, that's when I started speaking out.
Well, we're glad that you're here, and your
Well,
story
thanks.
is important like everybody else's. And I'm sure there's a lot of old timers that watch our show, Janice, right, Janice,
Yes,
who
there
will
are.
remember you and remember these times. So I think they'll enjoy this.
Yeah,
Right
they
on.
will.
Okay, great. Well, let me just go ahead here. Please subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, people. You're going to miss stories like this. So hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification button. If you have any questions for Deanna or for us or any comments, go down below in the comment section. We read them all. We respond to them. So please do, get down there and comment away. If you'd like to support our channel, you can buy us a coffee. There's a link in the description. Any money we get, it just supports the channel. It makes it more easy for us to do future videos. And then, as I mentioned before, Janice's book, which goes into detail into a lot of these stories, book 1, Commodore's Messenger, and then there's also book 2. They're both available right down below. You just click on them. You can get an autographed copy from Janice, and we'll send them out to you. So anyway, those are available as well. Janice and Deanna, do you have anything you'd like to say before we end this video?
No, it's been super fun. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's great
I've had
talking
fun
to-
with this.
Yeah, it's great talking to you since we haven't spoken, in 54 or something years.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great.
I know.
Well,
And she
anyway,
was little too, so. And she was a
oh, yeah.
messenger too, so.
Well, was she just like a year or two younger than you, or what?
I think.
No,
Weren't
I'm
you
Wait
the
a
like
same
minute.
age
4
I
years.
think I'm.
as Suzette, Janice? Were you the same
I'm-
age as
Huh?
Suzette? Were you the
No, I was
same age
younger than
as Suzette?
Suzette.
Okay.
I was younger than
Right.
Suzette.
No, I think. Well, I'm 72, so
Yeah, it's a 4-year difference.
yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay. Well,
Yeah,
until
that's
next
why
time,
she was the
everybody.
big boss of the canteen.
That's right. That's right. I get it now.
And I made the little kids get up there and open the door.
Okay. Until next time, everybody. Bye-bye. We'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye.